Oh yeah, I like your perspective on this issue. Very interesting and very illuminating. But some may also have a different perspective, like being expressed, particularly on the issue of writing off our debts, which happened in the past. How did we get here after debts were written off? We all know that it was only the Paris Club debt that was written off. We hold $30 billion. $18 billion was forgiven. We paid hard cash $12 billion, and that brought down the debt to GDP ratio to 7%, at that time. But we still hold IMF and the World Bank at that point in time. Now, we have now brought in, accumulated debts over a period of time. Some will argue that the $12 billion, which we paid at that point in time, to Paris Club, could have as well been invested in the energy sector, either on our weak transmission lines, which are already over 50 years old.
That's right.
Or on, generating power. Because like you probably, I'm sure you know that many of the major electricity companies, like international companies like General Electric, Siemens, will not touch anything less than, 20,000 megawatts. But over the years, since the days of Dakoru, we've always been talking about 10,000 megawatts until just in the last 6 years, when we started appreciating the fact that if you keep talking about 10,000 megawatts as your target, there is no way how we will attract international players into that sector. Now, my own question is this. Based on those realities that, look, you cannot run away from them. What matters is what do you do with the money? Because you can pay off debt and then you're accumulating new ones without explaining what you are doing with it. What do you think is the sustainable path towards ensuring that we are not only addressing the GENCO's issue alone, because the GENCO's issue, they have a problem of cash liquidity, operating cost, and investors' confidence. With these steps taken by the government, do you think that solving the problem in the GENCO's alone, without looking at the transmission aspect of it, would solve the problem?
I would say absolutely no.
In terms of investors' confidence?
Yeah, well, in terms of investor confidence, you only be addressing the generating arm. I'm sure you know when it comes to this power sector, we have the three arms, the three legs. We have the generating aspect, we have the transmission, and we have the distribution arm. If you generate so much, as we speak, part of the problem we are faced with is that even the electricity being generated is not even going the way it should go because of the middle class, which is the transmission, which you and I understand that part is still being owned by the government and a lot of gap. The last administration worked seriously with Siemens to see how they can bridge the gap. The question as we speak today, where are we on the project? Not known to several people. During the last, before the 2013, we actually saw a situation where we unbundled the distribution arm. Have we seen any improvement in terms of investment from the disco themselves to actually take away the burden so that even what a lot should be clamoring or crying about is we now have, we should generate more because the distribution arm or the transmission arm has actually been taken care of. But that gap is still there, to the best of my knowledge. A lot of connection problem out there with the disco. If today we generate 20,000 megawatts of power supply, the distribution will still create a problem. Correct. Because of the cobwebs that we are. So of what benefit it is, so you'll be generating so much, that's where the wastages we are talking about will start happening. So I feel that government needs to address it. When you say you are unbundling, you sell this to the private sector, how much have you monitored in actually carrying out? A lot of them gave promises of actually giving transformers, because then I knew when they first came in, they will tell you that you need not to buy transformer. It's the responsibility of the disco, is the responsibility that they are supposed to provide. But up till today, a lot of people are still buying transformer in their community. How much have we monitored that the disco has fulfilled that part of the obligation that belongs to them? The one that Mr. Minister is celebrating as regard the issue of meter is the responsibility of the disco. That's right. Because you are supposed to provide assets that will accurately measure what your consumer is using to minimize the conflict between you and them. The transmission are not going to engage with the end users. It is the disco. So it should be their own. You should work out modalities in which the disco will be able to do that to its consumer. If they choose not to provide the meters and they are giving estimated billing and we refuse to pay, it becomes their burden. They accumulate a lot of bad debt that will be difficult for them to do. I feel that the center needs to concentrate more in the area of generation. Now we've taken care of the debts that are being owed to the GENCO. How far have we gone with the transmission? If we generate 20 megawatts today, are we ready to will that to the end users for them to justify, what is actually being pushed to them? If you will it to them, do we have the resources in your area? Be fair with yourself. If your transformer, I'm sure your transformer is much more than 15 years. You can imagine the depreciation level of that transformer. So if they supply 24/7 to that transformer, will it withstand it? The answer is no. There are a lot of dilapidated assets, even at the last wing, which is distribution. That needs to be rejuvenated. You still go around, see a lot of cobwebs. People still tap supply where they are not supposed to tap. Right. What are the disco doing? These are areas we should measure. I've said it that Mr. Minister is having misplacement of priority. The issue of metering is the business of the disco. If they cannot meter their customer, let them battle with the issue of the indebtedness on their part. Work on area of making sure that we have enough to generate, enough to transmit to them, and let them now be coming to say, we don't want this supply, it's becoming too much.
Absolutely.
And now look at area where we can push that out.
Looking at the fact that we're talking about, breaking a decade-long jinx, I do not think whether we've actually broken